I'm Dr. Deb Butler, and you are listening to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is episode number 342. Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. If you're a woman and you're smart and you're successful and you've been struggling with weight your whole life, and now menopause is making it harder than ever, and you are ready to make this the last time you ever have to go on a diet again, then this podcast is for you. Stay tuned. Well, hello, all my dear friends all over the world. What you thinking? What you feeling? What you doing right now? You driving? You walking? If you're anything like me, you might be taking a bath. I love taking baths and listening to podcasts. So I don't know, maybe you're doing that. But whatever you're doing, I really want you to be thinking about this new course that I've opened the doors to in the last few days. It's open. I've been talking a lot about it. I've done some free courses. I've done a joy camp or a boot camp for some people to kind of get to see how I work, how I coach, how I teach. And now, for those of you that are listening, I'm assuming you listen to my podcast. Or maybe this is the first time you've ever been on my podcast and you don't know much about me and you don't know much about the tools that I teach about my thinner peace process. Well, if you've never been here before, welcome. And it's your lucky day because the doors to this group course that I'm offering, it's the only time I'm doing it this year. And it's actually been changed, streamlined, and created in such a way like I've never done it before. So I'm very, very excited to offer it. So if you're listening for the first time and you're intrigued by losing weight because you're in menopause, I want to tell you right now that the most important thing, if you should be here or not, is if you're a woman and you've been struggling with weight your whole life, and now menopause is making it harder than ever, if you're that woman, this podcast is for you. And I'm going to tell you something about the process that I use, this thinner peace process. Even the name, thinner peace, is that some of you may only have 5 pounds to lose. Some of you don't have any weight to lose. Some of you have 100 pounds to lose or more or less. But what makes all of you in common of how you can be helped with my process is if you want to be doing something different other than an external diet, other than somebody else telling you what to eat, because I'm thinking by this time, if you've been struggling with weight your whole life, you've tried a lot of diets. And the thing about diets is a lot of them work if all you're doing is looking to lose weight. They work. But if what you're doing is to be able to figure out a way for you to become peaceful in your mind and body around food in all kinds of situations, then an external diet's not going to help you. And maybe you've already noticed that already. And now that you're in menopause, you trying to do one of these diets is excruciating because it's slow or it doesn't work anymore. Okay, welcome to the club. So, for all of you who are listening right now, those of you who've been listening for a long time, those of you who have already heard about my doors being open and this course open, and you're thinking about it, I want to tell you a few things about it. And what else I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give you today, when I'm through speaking to you, I'm going to let you listen to the last free masterclass that I did on the 3 steps to permanent weight loss in menopause. That is going to be on this podcast when I'm finished talking to you. So I'm giving you a little intro right now And then I'm going to let you actually hear the class. If you didn't have a chance to sign up, I'm going to let you hear it now, and you can hear it as many times as you want. But the difference, why I think that this group course is so fascinating and so workable, and why it's so different, is because number one, most of all the coaching that I've done over the last 15 years, most of it is an individual coaching. I offer specific, customized programs for people who really want to make this the last time they ever want to lose weight again. They're in menopause and they've been struggling for a long time. And I've also offered some groups over the last couple years. And that has been very, very helpful, I know, for a lot of women who don't want a spotlight shined on them or don't want to spend the money that individual coaching costs. So, in this creation of what I've done is basically it's kind of a mix between group coaching, a course that you can do on your own, and individual coaching. Brilliant, I know. So, some of the big things about it, and then you'll hear more about it when you hear my free masterclass. But some of the great advantages of it are number one, that it really is half the cost of my individual coaching. So, for those of you who've been listening for a while or who maybe have had many sessions, who've wanted to work individually with me but couldn't afford it, this may be a perfect option for you since you still get me coaching you in a group setting and you get all of my teachings on video so that you could watch on your own schedule. And I give you a lot of pointers in the course itself how to do it, but a lot of this is workable on your own. And on top of it, you can get all the coaching you need with me and be with like-minded women. I think it's perfect. The other thing about this is that it is during the holidays and it is in the new year. It's half in the holidays, and then the other half is in the new year in January and February. So you don't have to sign up for a new course in January to start losing the weight that you gained during the holidays. We know the drill. We know what most people do. We know that if you're one of those women and you've been struggling your whole life, the holidays usually don't end up going well. And I think now is a perfect opportunity to use the holidays to understand how to use my thinner peace process and actually make the holidays more joyful and maybe start losing weight too, but really learning your mind management around food because everything pops up during the holidays, everything in your mind because there's celebrations. It's like vacation and celebration all put together. And if you've had trouble creating peace around these type of things, then hey, why don't we just do it? The holidays are perfect. So with that being said, I'm going to let you sit back, take a bath if that's what you're doing, walking if that's what you're doing. I know a lot of you like to walk with me, or maybe you're driving, or maybe you're just sitting and relaxing. Whatever it is, I want you to listen to this masterclass and see if you can't pick up some things that can help you right away and also maybe help you make a decision on joining me this holiday season and in the new year. And if you don't listen to the webinar that you're going to hear in a minute, please go to drdebbutler.com/peace, Peace, and you can look at all the details of this group course. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this class. And of course, I'll see you next week as you're kinder and more kinder to yourself. Enjoy. Hello, everybody, all my dear friends all over the world. Welcome to the 3 steps to permanent weight loss in menopause. What I would love from you as we're just getting started is if there was one thing you would hope to get from me today, one thing, what would that be? Because maybe I could give it if I knew exactly what it was. Now, I can't take 20 pounds off your body by the end of today, so do not say that.
But if I could give you one thing today, what would it be? Okay. How to deal with bloat and retention during perimenopause. I may be able to help you with that, but I doubt it. That's the main thing that you want. I think that that's probably not what I do as much is to tell people how to get rid of bloat and water retention because I don't tell you so much what to eat and what to do as much as I try to tell you how to tap into your own body so you can figure out what to do. So perimenopause is fascinating as menopause is. And I think like what I teach more than anything else that I have up on my screen right now, I don't want to disappoint you, Jenna, but I'm going to teach you more about how to connect into your own body so you can figure out what to do with your bloat and retention. Because I believe you probably have a better idea of what to do with that, the more connected you are into your body. The other thing about perimenopause and menopause overall is that it entails a lot of things. And when I was a chiropractor, I actually dealt with more with the physiology of menopause and really help people trying to guide them to the right doctors, hormones, foods. But once I actually became a coach, that's the last thing I actually wanted to teach anymore because even when you have all the knowledge, there's still something that I found in people and why I like coaching that stops you from using the knowledge that you have to do the things you know you need to do. Cindy says, how to conquer boredom eating. Cindy, you're in the right place. I'm not saying you're not in the right place, Jenna, but I'm going to teach you how to connect to your body so you can figure out what to do. Boredom eating, which is basically what we're going to call emotional hunger and emotional holes. And what do we do with negative emotions when they don't feel good? And the only thing your brain has ever figured out what to do with that stuff is to eat. We're going to talk about that today. CK says confidence to be able to get fit and healthy. Okay, I'm going to give that to you today. I'm going to give you the confidence that you need because the only person that can do it is you. And guess what? It's in your brain, and either you believe it or you don't. It's a belief system. I'm going to help you with that. Joanne, sleep. Yeah, I could use some help with sleep too, Joanne. But I think with sleep, one of the things that I do, sleeping and eating are kind of similar in that they're both physiological symptoms in the body and they're involuntary sensations, which means that tired isn't something that your mind creates. Tired is something that your body has, and it gives you messages to the brain as when to put your body down, when to put it to sleep, just like physiological hunger. When are you hungry and when are you full? These are all things ingrained and wired in the body with clear messages to the brain when everything is connected properly. Julia says, hope that I can lose weight at 54. Oh, Julia, I'm a living example. You can lose weight at 54 for sure. And not only that, I think the 50s are the best time to figure out what works for your body. So I don't really teach as much as how to lose weight as to how to connect into your body and feed it what it needs and eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. And if your body needs to lose weight, it'll lose it. But at 54, when we're in our 50s, the problem with the 50s, the problem with menopause is this: metabolism is slower, your appetite is decreased, and you don't know it. You don't feel it because you've never been connected to your own appetite before. And so you don't realize how much less it is than it was 20 years ago. And if you're anything like I was, I never paid any attention to my physical body in terms of being hungry or being full. I paid attention to points. I paid attention to what I was supposed to eat. And when it was over, it was over. And it really didn't matter if my body was hungry or not. It really didn't matter if my body was full. In fact, the most important thing for me was making sure my body was very full. That's really what I worked on, is trying to fill my body up as much as I could to lose weight. It's not a great connection, but I learned to lose weight many, many times by overeating, because I could do Weight Watchers and do a lot of points at one time and lose weight. Jill W., how to get rid of menopausal belly. Probably can't help you with that either. overall, but I can teach you how to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. And I can teach you how to connect into your body. Menopause belly, I'm thinking there's a lot of reasons why we have it, and I relate to it, but you don't have to have a menopause belly. Let me just put it that way. And I think that more important than anything is, can you give your body the fuel that it needs? And can you eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full? And do you understand what that means? And if you were like me, I had no understanding of any of that. And I was a specialist in nutrition. I was a specialist in the body. And I could not do that for myself because of so much emotional hunger my whole life. And all I ever did for 30 years was gain and lose weight. And those of you who are like me, you're going to get the most amount of help about that today, because that's what this is about, is how to connect into your own body, how to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full, and deal with emotions instead of filling them with food. Caroline, yes. Confidence during stressful times, not the storm. That's probably one of the biggest issues I see with most of my clients. Most of the people that hire me usually will say to me, everything was fine. And then something happened, a divorce, a death, something, a pandemic. And I don't want to lessen how that feels and how stressful it is. But if we can teach our bodies to feel our emotions and teach our brains that just because we feel bad, we don't have to eat. This is a learned behavior. And then we have a food industry that supports this learned behavior by clicking in and checking into our brains to find out what foods cause this dopamine effect in the brains and sell it to us. Well, you can get a little angry about that. I was a little angry about it when I actually learned about it, but I realized that it's up to me. I can manage all of that. I don't have to eat anything or put anything into my mouth that I don't want into my mouth. And I want you to know that. Laurie says, how to figure out why I fog eat. Oh, Laurie, you'll get a lot of that today. For those of you who don't know, fog eating is basically eating when you're not hungry. Now, I have 4 different types of eating. I have fuel eating when you're eating nutritious food. I have joy eating when you're eating non-nutritious food that tastes good. I have fog eating when you're not hungry. And I have storm eating when you're eating a lot of food when you're not hungry due to big emotions. Linda, the ability to lose 100 pounds, just not today, with several chronic illnesses. Yes, I think that if it's 100 pounds, 50 pounds, 20 pounds, 10 pounds, the amount of pounds that what it is to each individual that has it is a big burden. 100 pounds and somebody with 10 pounds, I don't want to lessen 100 pounds, but I do want to say that it feels the same in the person's head, no matter what that weight is. They feel just as bad. I've worked with people who have had 3 pounds to lose that were as miserable as somebody who had 100 pounds to lose or 50 pounds to lose. The actual number is not as important as getting rid of the burden that created that weight gain. How to quiet the voice that says, just this last time, tomorrow I'll start. Yeah. I mean, everybody, just give a Yahoo. How many times have you said that to yourself? And really, that's about mind management, which is everything that I teach, is, you know what? You have to talk to that little child that's saying, oh, please, 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 just this one more time. Can I do it? I promise you I'll be good tomorrow. Just like a little kid. You ever had raised little kids or you have grandkids that say that? If you give it to me now, I promise I'll never do it again. Just give it to me. Yeah. That is your brain unmanaged. That's all it is. And you need to talk back to it, because if you're aware that you're thinking it and you've been thinking it for a long time, how's it working for you? Do you start tomorrow? Is it over? Or do you just tell yourself that as a way to give in to an urge now? That's all it is. Chris, being bulimic for 22 years, can I learn to read my body cues of being hungry? Chris, I was bulimic, one of the many things that I've been in my lifetime. I was younger. I've worked with a couple of people who are bulimics, and I did a podcast with one. Her name was Sam. You might want to look it up on my podcast. I did a few of them with her. She was an attorney and a judge, and she learned how to really hone into her body through the work that I teach and the work that I did with her. In fact, she went on to become a coach and do all the work that I do because it was so strong for her. So, yes, the answer is yes, you can. Okay. This is what I'm going to work on doing. And just share one thing first is that the deal with menopause is if your appetite decreases, but your emotions increase, and you've been on diets your whole life, either following an external plan or doing whatever the heck you feel like doing, meaning you're off the rails and you can do whatever you want because it's weight gain time. If that's what you've been doing your whole life and menopause hits you, it's a grand surprise when nothing works anymore. And losing weight is as slow as molasses. Welcome to menopause. So, what I figured out for myself is that I'm going to do it one more time and I'm not going to follow any external plan. The hardest thing I ever did was throwing away my lifetime Weight Watcher card. I had it for 30 years. I mean, I was doing this work for a year and I still carried that card in my purse because I always used it like a life jacket. Like it could always save me. I could always have something external to save me from being fat. I was so afraid of being fat and I wanted to eat whatever I wanted. And I thought food was so wonderful. And I wanted to be able to do all that. And I couldn't do both. I couldn't enjoy myself around food and lose weight. So I was either enjoying myself around food and gaining weight. And then I was limiting and restricting and depriving myself and going to Weight Watchers to lose the weight for 30 years. I stopped all that nonsense. It was not easy, but that's how I created all of this. And I created it all because, first of all, I decided to become a coach and I didn't want to be a chiropractor anymore. And the way the whole thing evolved is magic. And how I'm sitting here right now in front of you with 15 years of experience as a life and weight coach and not as a chiropractor, because I have 30 years as a chiropractor too. There's a lot of time in your life, people, to do what you want to be doing and to be doing it the way you want to be doing it and to not have this weight thing be such a burden. That's what I'm going to offer you today. So if you've been giving in to emotional hunger, call it boredom, call it whatever you want to call it like me. I just want to have a good time. I can't have a good time if I'm being limited. I want to teach you, you're not limited by what you eat. You're limited by what you think. You really can eat whatever you want, but darling, what do you want? Do you really want to eat bonbons all day long? Do you really want to eat potato chips all day long? I really don't think you do. I really don't think that's what you want. But I really think you equate having a good time with eating foods that have no value to your body, but you want to do them because they're fun and you can't do them forever. You're going to have to stop. So you got to get it all in. This is a yo-yo dieting. It doesn't work. This is a perfect time to do it because your body's screaming at you. Your body is not going to let you get away with much. So if you can really hone into what a decreased appetite feels like, if you really want to hone into it, you start eating between the twos. And what you're going to start noticing is that you don't need that much food and you don't need to eat a lot, even between the twos, when it's really just physical hunger. And what you start noticing as you start doing this process with me is there's just a lot of emotional stuff going on. We call it emotional hunger. We call it emotional holes that we're trying to fill with food. You cannot fill feelings with food. You have trained your brain to believe you can. You cannot. It doesn't work. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't do anything, but it does light up that part of your brain that for a moment in time feels like a reward. You got to be able to talk back to it. That's everything that I teach. And that's what I'm going to start working with today by coaching people on the issues that they have and using some of the tools that I teach. Let's start with Roxanne. Hello, Roxanne.
Hi.
Okie dokie. Miss Brave Soul. What can
First
I do
victim?
for you today? What does everybody need to hear? Whatever you tell me.
Struggling. 55, gained probably 50 pounds in the last 3 years.
Okay.
Nothing seems to work and no motivation.
Why aren't you motivated?
Just not at the moment. That's why I'm here.
Okay. So before this, you had no problem with weight? You were happy with your body and no problem with eating for the last 30 years?
No, I've yo-yoed my whole life.
Okay. So what do you mean about the last 3 years? You've just gained more weight than usual or?
Yeah. And I think the weight is part of the issue with my back issues. I have issues with my back. I have arthritis. I have bulging discs. I just feel old and achy.
And not motivated.
Correct.
So I think probably the purpose of this call is to try to increase your motivation just a little bit right now.
Yes.
So the reason that you don't feel motivated is why? Don't say I don't know.
Probably partially because my husband keeps saying, it's okay. I love you. You look great. Not that I want him to say, oh my God, you look horrible. But
it'd be great if you could say you look great.
I know. And, if he said you look horrible, then I'd probably lose it on him.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we understand.
When he says you're okay, then you're okay.
Then you believe you're okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why you're not motivated. You don't think you need to lose any weight because your husband's happy with you.
Correct. No, he's happy with me
for a minute.
Yeah.
Stay with me for a minute. You have a thought going on in your head that I don't really have to lose it because my husband loves me. Okay.
Probably, yeah.
That's snaking around. Now, the reason you're here is not because of that.
No, I'm here for me.
Why?
Probably because I need to tell myself I need to do this.
Why?
Because I do need to do this.
Why do you need to do this? Because your brain's telling you, no, you don't. I mean, listen, I think there's a lot of women on this call that think the only reason we need to be thin is for a man. I mean, I was given that. And
yeah, I don't need to be thin for him.
Somebody telling you you're fine.
Yeah. But I know I need to do it for the pain.
Who says?
My head, my body.
Wrong. Why else do you need to do it?
For me.
Why? Why is for you so important? Because right now you believe it's your husband is important.
I guess I need to do it because I need to be happy with me.
Well, are you happy with you?
No.
Why?
Because I hurt, because I ate, because it hurts to get out of bed, because nothing fits. It's not a number. It's the pain.
Okay. But do you know for sure that you're going to lose, if you lose the weight, you're going to lose the pain?
Not all of it.
Reason.
I don't think I'll lose all of the pain, but it might get me off the pills I'm on for it.
Okay. So let me ask you this. When you tell yourself, gosh darn it, why don't you just stop eating so we could get rid of this pain? It's all your fault.
Because that's not working so far.
I think that's what you're doing. I don't think you're being nice to yourself.
I think you're right.
I think you deserve better.
I think I do.
I think as a woman, I think many of us, number one, think if our partner likes us, everything's okay, because why else would we want to be thin anyway? I mean,
correct.
The things in our heads, I mean, from childhood, oh my gosh. And then on top of it, but I think that there's a disconnect for you and something just doesn't feel right for you. You don't feel connected.
It's always been easy for me. I could go on. I mean, I did Weight Watchers for years as well. I could go on crash diet. I could do something for 30 days and it worked. It always worked until I turned about 52 and then it just didn't. Nothing worked again anymore. So I quit.
So is that the time when you started losing your motivation for losing weight?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So here's the good news. You can become motivated starting today because I'll tell you what, the way that you've tried to lose weight before was never a good way to do it. It never was.
Okay.
Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So all your body is saying to you at this point in time, maybe our bodies are getting wiser. Maybe this menopausal thing isn't just a terrible thing that's put upon a woman at a certain age, but maybe it's a transformational time for us to get real with ourselves and get really connected to what we want in our lives and what we want with our bodies, because the mind body connection will get you far in your life. Would you like that?
Love it.
You can have it. And it doesn't have to be fast. And you don't have to blame menopause on it being slow. It's just the way it is. And if this is the last time you ever have to do this again without restriction and without deprivation, but actually believing that you can eat whatever you want, it's just what do you want? And learning what it's like to be in your own body and liking it. Now, would you want that?
Yes.
Well, you can have it.
Okay.
And you know what? It just starts with deciding that it doesn't really matter if it's slower. It matters that I just do it.
Yeah.
One more time. And the one more time is to be connected to yourself, to what floats your boat. This isn't just about the food that you put in your mouth. This is all about the emotions that you feel and being able to feel them and to feel powerful with them. To know that you can feel an urge and not give into it.
Okay.
I can see you're getting all excited.
Yes.
I don't really mean that. I'm not sure. Are you getting excited?
I am. I'm feeling motivated.
Are you feeling a little more hopeful?
Yes.
Are you feeling that it's possible that this is maybe the best thing that ever happened to you? Because otherwise you're just going to keep doing what you were doing your whole life. And that gets pretty
mundane.
Well, and I think it's also terrible for your body. Up and down in weight, up and down in weight. I don't want to be on my deathbed at 90 years old saying, do I look fat?
Yeah.
I can't eat that. Don't give it to me. I can't eat that. That's fattening.
And you don't get to enjoy life.
If you got that far and that's what it would be like, it's like, don't you want to stop it?
Yeah.
The process that I'm teaching you right now is a way to stop it. And in the same way, you can also lose weight.
Okay.
One more time.
One last time.
That's it. Okay, sweetheart. Thank you so much for being so brave and being the first.
Thank you.
And I'm going to pull up the next person. Cindy, can you talk to me?
Yes, I can talk to you.
Okay, beautiful.
So not to waste time here. I feel like Roxanne, and I feel the whole thing like she does with her husband saying, you look good. And I think, okay, I look good. But the truth is, I've never really had a weight problem until I got into my mid 40s. My whole life changed. I went from working and running around buildings to working out of my house. And then the weight came on, and then menopause came. And now I just don't have the energy. I know what I have to do. And I've started to watch what I eat and track what I eat. But I don't really have the energy to exercise. And I know
I have to exercise.
I have to. It's the only way I burn my calories.
I don't agree.
And I don't like just not eating like 800 calories a day or 1,000 calories a day. I mean,
is that what you think you have to do?
Well, yeah, because I like to eat. If I eat and I don't exercise, then where will I be besides fat?
Well, what about if you learn how to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full and not feel deprived or restricted doing just that?
So if someone does just that, do they stay within calorie range automatically? I mean,
I don't know. I don't teach anybody to count calories, and we don't count calories. So I don't know.
But if you had to guess and people are losing weight because they follow that, then
I don't even know if it's all about calories in, calories out. I'm not even sure about that. Everybody seems so different to me. But that's what you're used to, is trying to count calories.
Well, again, I really haven't had to all my life. And so now this is a whole new world to me saying, okay, you can't eat like you used to because you're not burning the energy. You're not burning those calories.
Well, maybe you don't have to eat like you used to. Maybe you don't even want to eat like you used to. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of times what we think is that we want to do what we used to do, but our bodies don't want to do that anymore. But we don't even know it because we're not connected into it.
Okay, I understand that. That's a good point. Yes.
So if you spent the first 40 years of your life, were you connected to your body and you liked your body and you had no problem with food?
I was always on a schedule. I worked constantly. So
that
I
has nothing to do with it.
Well, I wasn't home to eat whenever.
That doesn't mean anything. I mean, you can be anywhere and eat whatever. And you're saying to me, oh, when I was on a strict schedule, then that's why I stayed thin.
That is what I'm saying to you.
That's what you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
Well, it's terrible. you're acting like you had nothing to do with it. Oh, it was my schedule and my schedule changed. Therefore, that's why. No, you know what? That thought is causing you to gain weight.
Wow.
That's what I got for you today. I'm serious. It's not about calories. It's about what's going on in your brain. I really believe our bodies know when to eat and when to stop. And you need to know what those signals are. You need to get in there and be able to just do that alone. And you are the only one who knows what actual fuel is for you, what fortifies your body. You know that more than I could tell you how to do that. I'm working with women that are brilliant, and I can already tell that you are, but I can also tell that you're a calorie counter and you think it's a matter of counting calories. It disconnects you from your body. And I don't want to teach that. I live that life. I don't like that life and I don't want to do it. I learned how not to do it. And now I teach people how to do it. And there's this big thing, this connection thing to the body is not a little thing.
That's huge. You really opened my eyes here.
Good. Well, that's what I want to do. So I'm going to move on to somebody else and I want you to think about it. Have you heard any of my podcasts or anything?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Well, you should listen to them more.
Yes. Yes, I agree. Thank you. But I do it when I'm exercising.
Yeah. Well, you can do it anytime. And, you know, the program that I'm going to be talking about in a second probably would be really, really good for you. But I have a feeling your mind's going to have something about time. But as long as we opened up your eyes, because it's all about coaching the brain and seeing what's in it that's in the way. And we both see it. And everybody that's on this call saw it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, sweetheart. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to go to Julia. All right. What can I do you?
Well, I have listened to your podcast a little bit and I'm not sure how I discovered you, but I've really very seldom, I've tried to lose weight. And the only time I was able to do it is one time when I went vegan and I cut out sugar both at the same time and I lost some weight, but then I think I put it back.
Well, you think you put it back or you did?
It's been a few years and I haven't put it all back. Like I weigh about 165 now and I've always wanted to weigh like 135. So I feel like I want to
Why do you want to weigh 135?
I don't know. I just feel like I would look good.
What a great reason.
And I feel like I would look good and I would feel good. But I also feel like, I look good and feel good kind of now,
But you would really look good and feel good if you lost 30 pounds.
Right. And I have some of the things like I feel like my body would feel better and that I would just have more energy. But I've just never been able to do it. And just because I do like sweets and ice cream and stuff like that.
You think you can lose weight and eat ice cream?
Well, maybe, but if you're like on Weight Watchers, having a little bowl of Ben and Jerry's, that like blows your points out for the week.
Well, but here's the thing I think about eating those kind of foods. I call them joy eats. You aware of how the types of eating that I talk about?
A little bit, right?
A little bit. Okay. I talk about all those foods, non-nutritious foods that taste really good. I call them joy eats. And I call them joy eats because they taste good and it's enjoying.
Yeah.
But they really don't have a lot of staying time or staying power when you really start paying attention to them. And so I think the idea like of Weight Watchers or something where they show you that if you eat something like that, there's not a lot left. I really think in the scheme of things that once you start really connecting into your body and feeling this stuff, that if you eat some ice cream, depending on how much you eat, because I really believe, and I like to think about a joy eat as a very mindful thing that you do. You enjoy it bite by bite. You stop the minute you're done. So you don't need to eat a lot of it. You know, you don't need to eat a cup of it. I don't even know if you need a half a cup of it. But I do know that it might taste really, really good. But if you're just going for the taste and the flavor, because there's nothing else to go after, it's not going to do anything for your body.
Right.
It just tastes good. So can you train yourself to really enjoy the taste and stop it?
Yeah, I think so.
And I think that's where the key is of joy eating is to become so mindful about these foods, because as people are listening, you have a lot of thoughts already that are in your way. Number one is life would be so much better at 135. But you know what? Life's not so bad right now. So we live in between those two things. So when Ben and Jerry's comes up, it's like, well, sure, I'm going to eat it. The life's not that bad. It's good. I mean, you can't lose weight. I mean, you will never lose weight because you have those two opposing thoughts going on in your head. There's something wrong with me. No, there's nothing wrong with me. And Ben and Jerry's pops up and your brain lights up like a Christmas tree. And it's like,
it's a lot of reward. I think I do a lot of reward eating, and so
why?
Yeah.
I mean, that's everything that I teach, and what I teach in this process and this course is that you are not a dog that does tricks for treats. It works very well with dogs. I've used the system before. I do not think it works very well for human beings. I don't think we need to use this stuff as a reward for anything. I think the reward, if you've been struggling and not connected to your body, the reward is being able to take care of your own body, eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full, and stop giving the power to the food is the biggest reward I think that you could ever get. And I think I'd be thinking like that.
Yeah.
And I think with Weight Watchers, when you see eating a food like that takes up so many points, I think that if you eat that much and you actually connect into your own body, you will see that your appetite may be very, very affected by eating something like that, where you may not want to eat as much if you're not following something external. I mean, and you're not, all the things that I should do and shouldn't do. And oh my gosh, I'm never going to get it again. So therefore, I better have another cup or two just in case, because tomorrow is the last day of Ben and Jerry's. All of that bullshit is just bullshit. And if you don't get a little bit more on top of your own brain, you're going to let it run you, because what your brain's saying to you right now, really anything you do is okay. You're okay.
Right. Yeah. What you just said, a lot of that, oh, I can't do it again, so I better do it now. Or,
I'm not going to use that word again because I don't want to curse for people who are offended by that. That's like one of the things I say, but it is such BS, and your brain is so good at it. And you trained your brain to teach it to talk to you like that, because you go, oh, is that what you think? Well, a cup of Ben and Jerry's for you. And you train it to do that. And everything that I teach you how to untrain that. This is all learned behavior. This is not intrinsic in your body at all. Your body is wired to eat when it's hungry and stop when it's full. And the sugar thing is something that's been kind of invented outside of us and has some pretty negative effects on the body. And if we use it too often, we can't see it, we can't feel it, and we can't attach to it. But I teach a lot of my course about sugar and flour, not that you can't eat it, but you got to respect it. If you're going to eat it, there are things you got to really watch out for, because it's got a thing that it does to your body that if you're not managing your mind over that, you will succumb to its power. And I believe we are more powerful than sugar. I believe we are more powerful than any food, because we have a prefrontal cortex in our brain and we are brilliant. So I'll end this with you by saying, stop telling yourself, decide what you want. If you want to be 135 pounds, go for it. If you want to be 160 pounds, go for it. But no matter what you decide in terms of the number on the scale, decide that you want to learn how to be connected into your body for the sake of pro-aging and being as healthy as you can as that body of yours ages, because it is giving you messages and signs and signals, because that's the way we were wired. And if you don't know how to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full, there's a lot of signals you're missing. And I would want to be very motivated by that if you want to get older in the best way that you can do. There are other things that are going to happen outside of you have no control over. But the things that I'm talking about is where all the control is, and you're not taking advantage of it.
Cool.
And if 30 pounds is the result of that, great. But the result and the reward of being connected to your body should be enough all by itself.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you. Everybody has all the same stuff. You're not alone. Everything that you say is what everybody thinks and says. That's why group coaching is so important. Okay, everybody. I'm going to spend the last few minutes talking a little bit more about my program and answering any more questions. So Wendy says, how do you feel the urge and not give into it? Probably one of the most prominent questions that I always get. And here's the truth. First of all, what I teach in my course and I teach in my process is that urges have strengths. They have power. They have power numbers. So you can feel an urge. It's part of the emotional hunger scale. And the emotional hunger scale goes, when we're talking about negative emotion, it goes from a 0 to a -10. -10 is the strongest urge you could possibly have, and 0 is pretty neutral. So when you say how to feel an urge and not give into it, it's how strong is it? And what I teach my clients is to measure their urges and to find out what urges they can. Because I guarantee you there are some you feel right now and you don't give into them, but you're probably not aware of them and don't even know you're having them and don't realize that the urge is not coming from the food. The urge is coming from your brain because your brain is thinking something. The food is not saying anything to you. Come get me. I'm available. Cookies do not float into your mouth. You take your hand, you pick up a cookie, and you put it in your mouth because your brain tells you something. And you have to be privy to what your brain is telling you. And that is all the work that I do when I work with people. This is all mind management. Thoughts create urges, and urges have strengths. Emotional hunger has strengths. And knowing those numbers helps you understand how big the holes are. Because I think of emotional hunger as emotional holes. And I call them holes because what our brains want to do is fill the holes up with food, as opposed to the difference between physical hunger and physical fullness, which are also basically a hole in the stomach. And that is something that needs to be fed and needs to be felt and also needs to be given a number because we have lost connection with all of this. We don't even know what this is. That's why I teach numbers to kind of get you reconnected into your own body by numbers, by eating at a -2 and stopping at a +2. And if you're at a +2 and then you find yourself going to a +3, which is then fog eating, then we also know that you have emotional hunger or you have an emotional hole. And instead of filling your physical hunger, because that's gone, you're not doing that anymore, you're filling an emotional hole with that extra food, thinking that you're filling your belly, but really you're filling an emotion. And you've trained your brain to do it. And so I take it all apart by this process of food journaling that I use, by all the numbers that I use, and then by my coaching on all of this, which is powerful. So this course that I'm giving, you're going to be getting a link to it. And the main thing that I want to say about it is that the way that I've created it differently is I've created as a way for you to do it the way that you want to do it. So what you're seeing right now today is you're seeing me teaching, you're seeing me coaching, you're seeing me do all kinds of things. So I got to coach 3 people today, which is good. But if this were an hour call of just coaching, I would be able to coach a lot more people. So what I've done in my course program is that if you join, number one, you will get 12 coaching videos. And those videos are specific tools that I think that are going to take you to the end of believing that this is the last time that you ever have to lose weight again. And it's done in a step-by-step process. And I'm recommending that you listen to them, watch them weekly. They're connected to a brand new book that I've created that goes specifically with each video with the specific homework. And you're also connected to email with me throughout the entire time. So this is kind of very similar to individual coaching where people have email access to me. You have the same thing in this group coaching course. Plus, every week, most weeks, I will be doing live coaching for an hour, and we will be following the specific tools that I'm teaching. I will be coaching you at each level. So it's step by step. Everybody's in this together. As you can see, most people have the exact same problems or issues one way or the other. When I coach one person, I coach many people. If you like to be coached, you will have many opportunities to be coached. If you don't like being in the forefront and you rather sit back and listen, you will learn a lot that way too. You get to do it your way. The other thing about this program is that it's half in the holiday season and half in the New Year season. So if you're thinking about joining a program in the new year, you don't have to think about it. If you join it now, you're in for the holidays and you're in for the new year. I think it's brilliant. And I think the holidays become more enjoyable as you learn my thinner piece process while you're going through the holidays. It just brings up more of your stuff and better things for me to coach you on so that you can learn at a much faster rate because your stuff comes up. So I have some clients that decide to work with me when they're going on vacation or when they have a lot of celebrations going on. The smart ones hire me then because they know everything is going to come up. That is what I'm offering for this course is you're going to have the holidays come up and I get to coach you on it. And you still get to eat whatever you want. It's me teaching you how to take that thought and use it in a way that will actually help you lose weight. Because when you think that thought, oh, good, I get to eat whatever I want, you think it's time to disconnect from your body. That's the last thing that I want. I don't want you to go through the holidays going, well, I'm just going to stop thinking. I'm just going to disconnect and I'm just going to eat whatever I want and really enjoy myself. That's the kind of thinking that got you where you are today. I want you to stop it immediately. The minute you join, I'm going to teach you how to stop thinking that and start giving you thoughts that are powerful that will help you believe you can eat whatever you want. You have to believe that. And if you can't believe that, you will always go up and down in weight. You're always going to think that you have to deprive yourself to lose weight. And you're always going to think that you have to disconnect from yourself if you don't want to do that. And I'm living proof that you can totally be connected, stay at the same weight, and eat whatever you want. I think it's pretty attractive. So what I'm doing is I'm adding bonuses to this. You'll see all the bonuses on the link. And there's 4 of them, I think. 2 of them are going to be my brand new books that I did are actually available where you can use them on your computer. That's part of the program. But also, I'm also going to mail you those where they're going to be beautiful. And if you're a handwriter, you're going to be able to use the food journals in the book that way that go specifically with the videos. And then you have every week to spend time with me and every opportunity that you have to email me to make sure that by the time we get through the new year, I think the last coaching call is going to be in February, you will be so much closer to where you want to be. And you did it all in one process and in one program. So that link will be coming to you. I hope that this has been really helpful for you and that you've learned something, that your appetite has decreased, but your emotional hunger has increased. And if you can learn how to handle the emotional holes, you've got it. And that's exactly what I do. Debbie wants to know, does this course help with binge eating? This course helps with storm eating, and storm eating is binge eating. And yes, it's kind of all the same thing. Chris asked, does it help overcome food addiction? Well, I don't really believe in food addiction. I believe you have thoughts that you're addicted to foods. So the answer is yes, I think this course helps you with your thinking about foods that you believe you're addicted to. I believe it helps a lot. What we do more than anything is work on managing your mind, but we also work on food too and knowing what affects what. So absolutely, yes. Okay. If you're interested and you already know you want to do the course or you want to look at it, you go to drdebbutler.com/peace and you can look it up before you even get the link. Goodbye, all my lovely, lovely people. Thank you so much for being here today. And as always, it is my pleasure. Bye-bye. If you're loving my podcast and you would like some more information to be able to follow along with, then please go to drdebbutler.com/change, and you can get a free copy of my companion book that goes with this podcast that I refer to in many different episodes. That is drdebbutler.com/change, CHANGE.